8-6, solving x squared plus bx plus c. That is the general formula for a quadratic equation. I'm going to have alternate videos that will go into more detail for factoring these quadratics, but that's what this is. It's a worksheet that was given to you to introduce factoring. So this is kind of just an introduction, so we won't usually be factoring in this manner. Like, for instance, we have tables. You typically won't do that. But just pay attention to what's going on here, and hopefully it'll make sense to you after a little practice here. So what we have here is a quadratic. We can tell it's a quadratic equation because the highest power of x is 2. We can see that right here. The highest power of x is 2. So what we're going to do is factor this equation. This is a product of two factors that we need to figure out what they are. And how we do this is we look at the last coefficient here, this last number, which is 10, and we figure out factors of 10 that will add together to get this middle coefficient, which is 7. So factors of 10 that will add to make 7. That's what we're looking for. And we don't really have enough space for this, but we're going to go ahead and list the factors of 10 that we know. I'm going to start off by saying 1 and 10. It's pretty obvious. 1 times 10 is 10. I'm going to go ahead and say also -1 and -10. If you multiply these together, it will give you also positive 10. Other factors that we know are 2 and 5. And of course -2 and -5. These are all the factors that I can think of off the top of my head. Let's go ahead and add these two factors together. We'll say 1 plus 10 is 11. -1 plus -10 is -11. 2 plus 5 is 7. And -2 plus -5 is -7. So the idea of this is we find this last number, figure out all the factors. Two numbers will multiply together to give you 10. And the same two numbers, when you add them, will give you 7. I can see that the sum of these two factors here is 7 right here. So these two numbers are 2 and 5. Multiply 2 and 5, you get 10. If you add 2 and 5, you get the middle number, which is 7. So we're going to take this 2 and 5 here and go one step further with it. We're going to break these down into two factors. These are two factors for this polynomial that I started with. So we're going to have positive 2. So go ahead and put positive 2 because we have a positive 2 here. And we have a positive 5. So go ahead and put plus 5. And on the other side of it, we're going to have x's. Okay. So what I have now is two factors that are binomials. And if I multiply these two together, it'll actually give me the product of this, which is the original function that we started with, this quadratic. So this whole thing is factored out. And we're going to go ahead and look at example 2 and do the same process. Now the only reason we're able to do this really is because the lead coefficient, which is basically the number in front of x squared here, is 1. When that number isn't 1, this process isn't so straightforward or as easy, but it is for this entire worksheet, so we're going to go ahead and do it this way. So we need, again, factors of the last number, the two factors that will add to give you -8. So factors of 7, 7's prime, so that's not very difficult. We have, of course, 1 times 7, and -1 and -7. These are both the factors of 7. 1 times 7 is 7, but what is 1 plus 7? 1 plus 7, of course, is 8. -1 times -7 will also give you 7, but -1 plus -7 will give you -8. The number I have here in the middle here is -8, so this is the one I want, which means these are the factors that I wanted to get this going here. So we're going to go ahead and create two factors for this polynomial. And these two factors are -1, so I'll put -1 here, and -7, so I'll put -7 here. And what goes in front here, of course, are two x's. These are now both binomial factors that, when multiplied together, will give you a trinomial quadratic equation, which is what this is to start with. So this is technically your answer right here. Alright, so let's keep moving through this, and we'll go ahead and finish this off. There's not much to it here. Let's get this going down here. Alright. Factors of -16. That's the last number we have. So factors of -16. Let's see here. We got 1 and -16. Oops. Got hit a button here. 1 and -16. We got 2 and -8. I'm going to go ahead and say -2 and +8, and -1 and +16. So I'm going to go ahead and just go ahead and add these together without looking at anything. 1 plus -16, which is saying 1 minus 16 is -15. 2 minus 8 is negative 6. Negative 2 plus 8 is positive 6. And negative 1 plus 16 is positive 15. Now basically, I'm looking at all these numbers here. Which one matches the middle number that I have in my polynomial? That middle number is 6, so it's going to be this one right here. And the two factors I use to get that are negative 2 and negative 8. If you multiply negative 2 and negative 8, you will get negative 16. And if you add negative 2 and negative 8, you get 6, which is this middle number that I wanted. So these right here are your factors. And basically, we're going to make two binomial factors from this. We have negative 2, so we put minus 2, and we got a positive 8, so we put plus 8. And of course, we have the x's in front. So if I multiply these two together, it'll give me what I started with, this entire polynomial equation here for a quadratic equation. All right, looks like we're on example 4. This might be the last one, I think, maybe. All right, so take a look here. We need factors of the last number again, negative 15. So we'll say 1 and negative 15. We've also got 3 and negative 5. I'm going to go ahead and say negative 3 and positive 5. And also negative 1 and positive 15. These are the factors I can think of off the top of my head here. So we're going to say, what is 1 minus 15? Well, that's going to give you negative 14. 3 minus 5 is negative 2. Negative 3 plus 5 will give you positive 2. And negative 1 plus 15 will give you positive 14. Which one of these numbers here matches my middle number? Negative 2, that would be this one. So these are my factors, positive 3 and negative 5. They multiply together to give you negative 15. And these two also add together to give you negative 2. So we're going to split up one more time these factors. And of course we have positive 3, so we're going to say plus 3. And negative 5 right here, so we're going to put minus 5. And then don't forget to put the x's in front. So this binomial times this binomial, when you FOIL it out or use the distributive method or the box method as some people like to use, when you do that, multiply them together, what you end up getting is this entire quadratic equation again. So these are your factors. This is the answer for this one. All right.